for having me here. I call it Lunch Bunch. It's just, I feel sort of honored to be with all the speakers that have been at here at HAYVN speaking during lunchtime. But there's a lot of information I want to share, so I'm going to get started quickly. But first, I just want to share, I want to introduce Therese Lestick, who's here on the Zoom with us.
Hi.
She is my sort of just other half. She is wonderful. We've been working on and off together for about 20 years. So Healthcare Pathfinder, we're healthcare advisors and advocates helping people manage, understand, and advocate for their health insurance. Also find health insurance. We don't sell insurance. We are advisors. We don't share commission. We work with brokers, and we just help our clients through all different scenarios of helping them find and manage their insurance. So we picked today's topic, and I'm going to share my screen because Therese and I deal with this all the time in helping people sort of avoid the issues, or they often call us because they're having issues with their insurance. So we just wanted to share, you know, and with 20 minutes, and oh, I wanted to record this. It's being recorded, right, Felicia? So we don't have to, I don't have to worry about doing it. So costly mistakes for you and your parents to avoid. And this is not just related to money. This is related to time and stress. So we're not guaranteeing clients that they're going to get tons of money back. We're going to, we want to help make sure that they don't make a lot of mistakes on the way and avoid, you know, financially costly mistakes. And of course, my screen is freezing for some reason. Okay, there we go. So we chose 5 top areas where costly mistakes occur. So choosing your health insurance coverage from the start, life transitions, premium payments. I'm noticing my boxes, something happened with them. Advanced planning for care or treatment, and then managing bills and claims. So jumping right in, we have choosing the right insurance plans. And this relates to everyone. This is, you know, whether it's individual coverage, group coverage, or Medicare related insurance for your parents. And I didn't talk about that. Wanted to include your parents' insurance because we, I'd say almost, I wouldn't say half, but a lot of our clients, you know, we're working with the children who have parents that are older and have, whether it be health insurance or long-term care insurance, and we're helping them manage and navigate through the coverage issues that they're having and care-related issues. I'm also a nurse case manager, so I can help from that standpoint. So choosing the right insurance. You need to understand your insurance. So I'm not going to go into detail of all the different types of plans, but this is what people, they don't realize usually what type of plan they're on and how they have to comply with what the benefits are related to it and the coverages. So just for an example with HMO, you only have in-network coverage. And you have to go to a primary care physician, that's a PCP. You need a referral. The ambulance that is there for if you're out of network, you're somewhere traveling, and they'll cover for emergency care, but there's a lot of surprises in there. So again, it's understanding your insurance, knowing what type of plan you're on. For PPO, that means you get out of network benefits. So if you go to a doctor who's not covered under your plan, you can submit claims to try and get reimbursement. This is the most important, one of the most important areas from the start of knowing who's in network and who's out of network. So I'm, again, not going to go into too much detail because I've got a lot to cover. And then you have deductibles. So all of this relates to the cost of your plan. And the deductibles, as we all know, we're having higher deductibles every year. But that relates to how much you pay for premium. So if you're a healthy person, you want a high deductible plan. You pay out-of-pocket expenses before the plan kicks in. There's deductibles, there's co-pays, there's co-insurance, there's all different. It depends on the plan and the structure. But again, it's just backing up. Know what you're choosing if by enrolling in plans and choosing your plans. And this, again, it's very important, especially for your parents. A lot of people are surprised when their parents do not have regular Medicare. They have Medicare Advantage plans. And these end up being a real issue. And brokers sell them to older people because the premiums are less. And there's extra perks involved, but they don't realize that the networks are restricted. So next I'm going to talk about life transitions. And this is where, it's sort of, we have the Healthcare Pathfinder process that Teresa and I named the other day of taking people through life transitions. And the first one would be moving from out of state to a new state, buying a new home, or maybe you own property somewhere else. Figuring out where your insurance should be based out of is most important. Just because you move to Florida, if you're not there for 6 months, you cannot get your insurance based out of there. But if you are living there for more than 6 months, you've got to have it based out of Florida. So moving to a new state or a new network. So if you have an HMO type of plan, if you move from, say, Darien up to somewhere in Hartford, you may need to change your network and find new doctors that are in network or participate with the plan. Then you have loss of job. This is significant for people. The first thing that usually people say that they are eligible for COBRA. COBRA is so expensive. Let me look at the individual market, but they don't look at all of the benefits. COBRA, if it's especially with a large group insurance company, those benefits are like, save them if you can, and if you can afford them. But those have usually, they're often you have out of network coverage. You have a national network, meaning you could go to any sort of, you can go to doctors throughout the United States as long as they participate with your insurance company. But you should look at the other options, looking at the exchange options, looking off exchange, and I can talk more about that later. Then turning 65. Going on to Medicare is, everyone's like, yay. Some people are yay. Some people find out what it's like, that there's so many choices to be made, and you have to know what the timing on your enrollment, and you have to do it right. And if you don't do it right, you have penalties. So it's very important. We do Medicare consultations for clients all the time and take them through the whole process of making sure they get on the right plan at the right time. And then retirement. Retirement, you're not necessarily turning 65, or you've worked beyond 65. And again, you need to know the different enrollment periods and times that you need to enroll. What are your options? Are you being offered COBRA? COBRA and Medicare, you have to be careful with when you choose to enroll in Medicare. And then divorce. Divorce is, it's tough. There's a lot of areas that people, when they're going through divorce, need to understand related to health insurance. Also, securing insurance before you go through the divorce. Do you go on COBRA? COBRA, you're eligible for COBRA for 36 months if you're the dependent spouse and losing the group coverage. So you have 36 months of COBRA. For loss of job, it's 18 months. But again, it's looking at other options. Are you going to get a job? What type of benefits do they offer? And really looking at your choices. Then you have disability. And I could talk for an hour about disability transitions. We had a client recently who we saved them, or hundreds of thousands of dollars. He almost missed his ability to get his long-term and short-term disability. He had to transition onto Medicare, almost lost his COBRA benefits for his family, and he was with a large company that the HR department was not providing any advice. So you need to know what, you've got to be asking lots of questions. And then finally, aging off your parents' plan. Turning 26 in Connecticut, 29 in New York, and it varies in different states. Depending on the size of the plan, you may be eligible for, your child may be eligible for COBRA, which could be great, especially if your child has significant illnesses or medications that are costly. So again, looking at the exchange, when I say exchange, I'm sorry, that's Access Health CT, or depending on your state, that's the Affordable Care Act type of plans where you can get subsidies. And again, they're on, you have in-network type of plans and they have on-exchange plans and off-exchange plans. So that's a whole nother area that we help our clients understand which plan they're choosing. Next is premium payments. So we find, well, often we're picking up the pieces when someone hasn't paid their premiums and their plans have been canceled as a result of that. So what we do with, especially with our older clients, is we have the insurance companies have documents that you can fill out that you can assign someone to receive notification if you've missed a payment and if your plan is at risk for cancellation. So if anything, this is important. I'd say it goes right while you're doing this, get the authorizations on file with the insurance companies so you can talk to your the insurance company on your parents' behalf or on your children's behalf if they're over the age of 18. Then auto pay. Highly recommend auto pay. The only issue that we have is that sometimes on renewal, it kicks out. So you need to make sure that, you know, always just make sure your insurance, your auto pay is working, especially on the renewal. And going along with this, the only way you're going to find out, they're not going to call you up. They're going to send you letters in the mail, and you have 30-day grace period to pay your premium. And then another 30 days before they'll cancel your policy, but they'll notify you. And you can't say, I didn't get that notice, because they will tell you exactly where they sent it. So you really have to be on track of where your premium payments stand. With COBRA, it is, if you miss your payment after that 30-day grace period, they will not reinstate your policy. You can say you didn't get notification. You can say you moved. It's very difficult, so do not miss that payment. Also, going back to enrollments with COBRA, you need to know when to enroll in COBRA and the timeframes related to that. Okay, next is, oops, sorry, I'm good, gotta go back. So advanced planning for care and treatment. This is, I love being proactive when someone is going to have surgery or they're in the hospital and they've got to figure out if they're going to go to a rehab, a SNF, a skilled facility, or home. Understand your benefits. Call your insurance company. If you're going to have surgeries or treatments, or you have a medication that is not on your, it's not listed on the formulary, you need to call the insurance company, ask them what you need to do to get prior authorization. Don't expect your provider, your doctor, to get prior authorization for you. Always double check to make sure you've gotten the prior authorization. Assume nothing. When to call is, you call at least a month before if you know you're gonna, when you know you're gonna have a procedure. Who to call, as I said, insurance company, provider. Also document who you talk to. When you're gonna have a procedure or you're going through treatments, get a journal and create a journal so that you can keep track of everyone you spoke to and get confirmation of approval. And then again, in and out of network, you've got to understand if your surgeon's in network, is the anesthesiologist in network, is the outpatient care facility or the hospital where you're having the surgery done. You need to check all those areas because you'll get surprise bills. Call your insurance company. They may contract with those out-of-network providers or talk to the providers about negotiating with them. Or we can do it for you. Managing bills and claims. This is Teresa's area of expertise. She has spreadsheets. She tracks all of our clients' claims and bills and tells them when to pay them. But for you, when you're reviewing your bills, you need to make sure they're accurate in making sure and submitted to the insurance company. So here's an example of a client recently who, this was the bill they sent to me and said, why am I paying this much? Well, it's not that insurance didn't pay anything. It's that they never sent the bill. They never sent a claim. This provider never sent the claim to the insurance company. So you're getting billed for the full amount. I should have done a slide showing that what happens, you know, how much they ended up owing in the end. I can't remember if it was they used up their deductible, but this is a perfect example. And this is very important with your parents. Parents, older people tend to be very good about paying bills on time. Really make sure that you're looking at if they do get bills. Most of them, if they're on regular Medicare and they have a good supplement plan, they're not paying usually anything. So you should always question when they get a bill. And then filing claims. So if, say, your parents have regular Medicare with a supplement plan, and they get a bill for a doctor who doesn't accept Medicare, you cannot file claims. There's no out-of-network benefits with Medicare plans. Even Medicare Advantage, you have to have providers who accept Medicare. Okay, so for filing claims, this is for, again, if you're an HMO, you don't have claims to file. It's kind of nice, actually, but your coverage is just more restricted. So with filing claims, correct forms, you have to have the correct claims form. You have to be accurate in filling out the claims. Keep your invoices. They have to be sent in with the claims, and follow up. Last year, I think it was last year, sent in about 20 claims for a client, like about $100,000. One of the claims was for $25,000, and they processed all of the claims except for the $25,000 claim. So I had to call up the insurance, saying, okay, so where's the $25,000 claim? We didn't get that. That was the only claim they said they didn't get, but they were able to find it. So you just need to follow up. Okay, so and then closing, as I've cruised through this, I've been timing myself. Special edition to COVID-19. These are just some of what you need to know. Is most of the insurance plans are covering medical costs related to COVID-19. So if you get a bill, if anyone you know has been sick and they've gotten a bill, don't pay that. Call your insurance company. As I said, most insurance companies are covering the costs. But if you have a self-insured plan with a large group a business, they do not have to comply with the Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare mandates. So you always just call your insurance company just to check. Save your receipts just in case you paid something or they denied it, because things may be changing down the road. COVID-19 testing is covered by your insurance companies, but again, if you have an ERISA self-insured plan, they're not required to pay for any of this, so you have to just double check. Medicare and Medicaid, in most cases, is paying. Medicare, definitely. And then here's a list of, it's a link that you can write down, or I was gonna maybe have Therese, you could put that in the chat, for what your insurance companies are doing. So it's a reference, but I would again call the insurance company to make sure what applies to your plan specifically. And then if you have an HSA, they've included over-the-counter medications, and feminine care supplies are qualified expenses. And then just actually thinking and going sort of back related to your health insurance companies. I'll just skip to the next, is your health insurance, just because you have Aetna or United Healthcare and you go to your doctor and say, do you accept United Healthcare? They may say yes, but they need to know specifically what plan you're on. So again, just wanted to close with that. There's so many things that I probably could have shared, but these are resources for you if you do have issues or questions related to your health insurance. And that's it. Questions or jokes? I don't have any jokes, but because I can never remember. And that's it. And let me
There's a couple of questions in chat, Anne.
Okay, I couldn't see chat while I was sharing.
Oh, here can you see it now, or do you want me to ask?
I got it now.
Okay.
Okay. Is this a place where I might consult when someone has scheduled procedure to help figure this out? Yes. And in fact, it's actually great for someone who is older as well. Oops, sorry, my timer's going off. Is to help them plan as to what's the discharge plan. So it's understanding your insurance benefits, but also what's the plan of care, whether or not you may need home care. Do you bring home care in before the surgery to do an assessment of the home? And then going through to the discharge plan. Are you going to need home care? Which rehab, which skilled nursing facility is in network? And that's one of the biggest issue in relation to parents is parents who are on a Medicare Advantage plan is very restricted network, and they can't go to, and even I had a client recently, it was a 55-year-old guy who was on sort of the benefits were, the network was fairly restricted, and he was up in Maine, got sick, and he only had access to 2 skilled facilities in this area, and not great choices. So it's important to know those things. So yes, we definitely consult from.
Or even, I'm thinking like when my father fell and broke 7 bones and was discharged, and all of a sudden he had no care at home.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
so
I did that.
At that point, I guess.
Yeah, if it becomes very complex, and it's more of a medical management with ongoing complicated ongoing management, I will bring in other nurses or case managers who really do medical management. I did case management for an insurance company, so we did all the transitions through the skilled facility to the home, and I also have home care background as well. So I will help to facilitate that. I'll work with the clients to choose a home care agency or finding other supportive services that can help them through, the discharge plan.
And sorry how about hospice? Do you, like,
oh, yeah.
There seems to be variation in hospice providers, but limitations on who you can bring in for hospice, depending on where you live or who your referring physician is?
Yeah, exactly. And it depends. That's a whole process. I went through it with my father as well. And it depends on if you're in a facility. So there's so many things related to hospice as far as advocating for the hospice to be providing the actual benefits to the max. In a nursing home, if hospice comes in, decreasing the daily rate that they're paying for the nursing facility, because now they have hospice care coming in, and so
there seems to be like a trick where they're like, there's a set amount of money that Medicaid will pay or Medicare will pay, and then there's a whole negotiation with the hospice provider about what they'll provide, even though they're getting the same amount of money, no matter. Is that
right? Yeah. there's rationing of care. So you really have to be an advocate for your, family member or, or client. Just going back, the coverage has changed so significantly. When I did home care nursing, 20 some years ago, you were able to put you would get care for 8 hours a day, no problem for my clients. Now it's 1.5 hours, depending, for an hour and a half. I mean, for maybe a couple of times a week. And then it depends on the situation, but it's not going to go on for a long period of time. So again, it's really understanding the benefits and looking for, using the case managers at the hospital and the social workers, and really, working with those people to help them support you. The communication is major. So what was the other question? Is insurance covering? Related to the antibodies, there was a question that I need to follow up on that, but there's issues related to it. So I'll get back to you, Felicia, on that, because there was a question as to whether or not they were going to cover it or not, because the tests are not completely reliable. Right. Does someone have to go to a doctor? Oh, wait, sorry. Scarlett, I can't hear you.
Hi. So you can hear me now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you for this. I have two questions. I live in New York, so that's why I'm telling you in case it makes a difference.
It does.
My husband is 65, and he was going to go on COBRA, but found out, not through HR, that he better not go on COBRA and he has to go on Medicare and then, add supplemental. So I'm going to be on the COBRA for half the year. So I was wondering, I wasn't clear on the COBRA. Should I stay on it, look for another insurance company? And then also, a friend of mine told me about a Liberty Health Share, which is much cheaper than the other insurance companies.
Yeah, well, that's not real insurance, a health share plan. But I would love to, I could go, we should do a separate call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not real insurance is not a comforting thing, so okay.
Well, they do pay bills. It's just it's not qualified insurance plan. So again, I can talk to you more about it, but they have these share plans that people are doing, but it's not creditable coverage. So if you won't necessarily, if you go on that plan, you don't like it, you will not be able to enroll in another plan until an open enrollment period opens up for you. So again, that's a whole, yeah. So I just have another question. Does someone have to go to a doctor within state, or does it go to geographic area? My parents live in New York, so that they're on Medicare. And
yeah.
It depends on what type of plan they're on. If they're on straight,
I think they have Medicare Advantage. The one you said is not good.
Well, they can be great. I say they're great if you are going to only go to your primary care physician. You're only going to go to the doctors that your primary care physician recommends, and the nursing facility or rehab is in network in your neighborhood. That's perfect for that type of person. If they're going to go to a New York City doctor, it has to be approved by the plan. You may have to appeal it. Very restrictive. But they're, the Advantage plans, they do have benefits of vision and dental and all of that. But it's not necessarily, they're perks, but when it comes to looking at the deductibles and all the different benefits related to the plan, they may not be the right fit.
Okay. I'm going to talk to you separately on my parents.
Okay. Yeah. And then let's see. Annie.
A question, or do we have to type in our questions, or can I just
You can let me just answer this question quickly. say, do you advise firms or coverage comes out of a law firm my husband is affiliated with? I do. I advise, but again, I don't sell the insurance, so I do advise and help them with choosing benefits. And I'll work with brokers and, you know, advise and recommend people, you know, go talk to brokers if I can't help them. So yes.